If you're a free-to-play player in Age of Empire Mobile, joining the strongest alliance may actually be the reason you're having less fun. And I know that sounds wrong, because every beginner instinct say the same thing. Join the biggest alliance, hide behind the whales, collect the rewards, and your account will grow faster. But here is the problem: faster progression on paper doesn't not always mean a better daily experience in practice. Now let me establish why I think this topic matters so much. I follow Age of Empire Mobile closely. I watch how alliances shape the player experience, and I keep seeing the same pattern in free-to-play player conversations. Players assume the strongest alliance is automatically the smartest move. Then a few weeks later they feel bored, irrelevant, or permanently behind. And that feeling is real, because Age of Empire Mobile is built around alliances in a very serious way. Public guides on the game point out that alliance bring research help, resources, alliance tech, gifts, treasury access, and even rewards, and that playing without an alliance is massively slows the progression. So this is not a small decision. If you're a free-to-play player or WoW spender, your alliance is not just your social group. It is your progression system, your event environment, your PvP experience, and honestly, your emotional experience with the game. Because if you choose the wrong alliance, you can end up logging in every day, doing all the same tasks, spending the same time, and still feel like none of it actually matter. Let's start with the default advice most players are giving: join the strongest alliance. And on the surface that sounds smart. Strong alliances usually have better coordination, more territory, more activity, more gifts, more tech donation, more help speed ups, and stronger event participation. That part is not fantasy. This part is not fantasy. That is real. Alliance system in the game do directly improve growth, and alliance events and coins create real account of value over time. But here is the problem: progression is not the same thing as enjoyment. This is where everything changes. If you're a free-to-play player inside a top WoW alliance, there's a real chance you become a passenger instead of player. You log in, the alliance already control the map, the main calls are made by the few heavy accounts, the biggest rallies are not yours, the hardest objects are not yours, the glitch battlefield movement are not yours. You are there, but emotionally you are standing at the edge of somebody else's empire. And that creates a very specific kind of frustration. Not the frustration of losing, the frustration of feeling unnecessary. That is the part nobody talk about. A lot of free-to-play players can't tolerate being weaker. What they hate is feeling invisible. You don't mind being smaller if you choose matter. You do mind being smaller if your only real job is to fill space, click help, and watch whales decide the story. Now let me be fair, because some players genuinely do enjoy being in the strong alliances. If your main goal is pure progression efficiency, access to better alliance system, and staying under the protection umbrella of the biggest spenders, then yes, a top alliance can absolutely help your account. The alliance guidance and alliance coin system both reinforce that active alliances create better support loops through donations, help, events, and treasury rewards, but that still doesn't not answer the real question: is it more fun? Because fun in Age of Empire Mobile is not just about numbers go up. Fun is tension, fun is rival, fun is seeing a fight and knowing your march, your timing, your decision, actual change something. If you're in overpowered alliance and every outcome feels predetermined, the game can start feeling weirdly empty even when your account is technically progressing well. That is the contradictions. Let me give you a real player scenario. You log in on the war day. Your alliance is so dominant that the enemy barely contests. Your strongest players wipe everything that move. Objectives are secured quickly. Rewards come on. On paper, this sounds amazing. But after a while, what are you actually remembering from this day? Do you outplay somebody? Did you glitch something? Did your free-to-play player account create a moment? Or did you just stand inside a victory that was already there by the top end of your alliance? That question hit harder than people actually expect. Now compare that to slightly weaker alliance. Still active, still organized, but closer to your level. Suddenly the game feels different. Your attendance matter more. Your march matter more. If you reinforce a rally, it matter. If you show up on time, it matter. If you farm smart, save speed-ups, upgrade the right heroes, and coordinate with your group, you actually feel the impact. This is not a fake progression, this is an emotional progression. And for free-to-play players, emotional progression matter a lot, because you do not have the spending shortcuts. Your satisfaction has to come from influence, efficiency, and smart decision. This is why some free-to-play players are more satisfied in a good mid-tier alliance than in number one well alliance. In the weaker alliance, they are not the strongest, but they are relevant, and relevant is addictive. But here's the warning, because I do not want to oversell the contrarian angle and give bad advice. A weaker alliance is only better if you're still alive. That distinction is everything. If the alliance is weaker but active, coordinated, ambitious, and improving, that can be amazing free-to-play player environment. If the alliance is weak and disorganized, half of the members are inactive, nobody donates, no one show up, the leadership is confused, then you're not choosing more fun, you're choosing stagnation. This is where a lot of players make wrong comparison. They compare the strong alliance to a dead alliance, and of course the strong alliance look better. That is not the real comparison. The real comparison is this: should a free-to-play player join the strongest alliance where they might feel small, or a competitive second-tier alliance where they may actually matter? This is the real debate, and this is the part nobody talk about enough. Matchmaking and opponent's quality can completely change how much fun you're having. If you're in the alliance environment where every event turns into either a stomp or a slaughter that gets old fast, either your side rolls everything and you feel unnecessary, or you get matched into monster and your march disappear instantly. Neither one feels good. This changed how you should see the system, because the best alliances for free-to-play player is not always the strongest alliance. Is the alliance where your account can still grow, your daily actions still matter, and your event experience still feel competitive instead of scripted. This is the completely different filter. Now let's break this down practically. What does a good free-to-play player alliance look like in Age of Empire Mobile? First, it has activity, not fake power, activity. Members log in, donate, click help, build, reinforce, and show up. This small alliance system matter because alliance help donation, barbarian farming, buildings, and alliance events all feed alliance coins and progression. If the alliance is sleepy, free-to-play players suffer first. Second is that direction. It has direction. A weaker alliance can still be fun if leadership know what is doing. Maybe you are not the Kingdom King alliance, but the officers actually communicate, set goals, organize targets, and create a sense that players are building toward something that matter more than the raw rank. Because players can endure being weaker, they cannot endure chaos forever. Third, it has room for you to rise. This is huge. In the strongest alliance, your ceiling may be fixed from day one. You already know who are the main rally leaders, you already know who gets priority, you already know who is what role is having. In a strong second tier alliance, you may actually become one of the important players, not because you're well, but because you're active, reliable, and smart. And that's feel good in the way raw rewards cannot replace. Now let's talk about the other side, because some players will say, okay, but the top alliance give better rewards, better gifts, better alliance tech, and more protection. So how can a weaker alliance even be better? That's a fair argument, and yes, top alliances can accelerate account growth through stronger alliance system and overall activity. But here's the problem with this argument. It assumes free-to-play players only care about growth speed. They do not. A lot of free-to-play players stay in the game not because they are first, but because the game feels meaningful every day. If the strong alliance give you 15% more rewards but make you 50% less emotionally invested, this is not automatically the better choice. That is the kind of trade-off players ignore until they burn out. Here's another real scenario. You join the strong alliance. 2 weeks for 2 weeks, it feels incredible. Gifts everywhere, but big names everywhere, huge protection, big event wins. Then a reality sets in. You realize the top spenders are racing far beyond you. They realize rally leadership is working. You realize your job is mostly support. You realize decisions happen above your level. And suddenly you are growing, but you're not enjoying the growth. This is a trap. Now let's flip it up. Your alliance is rising alliance, and that it is maybe ranked 3rd, 4th, or 5th in your region. It's not hopeless. It's not weak in the death sentence. It's hungry. That alliance might lose some fights, it might not own everything, but you actually experience tension. You know why people are pushing. You feel the value of your own efficiency. And when your alliance improve, it make like you improve with it. That create attachment. And attachment matter because Age of Empires Mobile is not a one-day game. It is a long progression game with alliance system, event system, and even migrational system that can reshape where you're playing. Migration passes scale with the power, and migrational happens through the dedicated event. So long-term alliance choice is tied to long-term account planning, not just this week reward. So if your alliance choose make you miserable, that cost compound over time. This is where everything change again. The smartest free-to-play player question is not which alliance is stronger, it is which alliance give me the best mix of growth, activity, relevance, and future options. This is the grow up version of the question, because the strong alliance with no room for you can feel smaller than a weak alliance that actually value you. Now I want to say something uncomfortable. Some free-to-play players say they want fun, but what they really want is borrow prestige. They want the alliance stack, they want to stand next to the power, they want to feel safer behind the whales. And look, I get it. There is social value in being inside in Kingdom Giants. But here's the problem. Borrowing prestige wears off fast, and if the daily gameplay underneath is so boring. And the opposite is true too. Real contribution feels better than borrowed dominance. If your alliance win a fight because you show up, reinforce correctly, keep your march alive, time it a teleport, donation consistently and help push the group forward, you will remember that much longer than another effortless win in a server where the result was never been adopted. This is the emotional core of the whole topic. Now let's talk about weak alliance matchmaking, because this is where the contrarian idea gets in teeth. Some players argue that the weaker alliance can end up in more balanced situation, and that is why free-to-play players sometimes have more fun there. Not because the game become easier, but because the fight become more interactive. You're not just getting run over by impossible and top-end accounts, and you're not just hiding behind them either. You're actually playing. And for free-to-play player, interactive gameplay is huge. Your account will never win by raw spending. It wins by efficiency, consistency, and better decision making. So the more the game gives you situation where those qualities matter, the more enjoyable the game becomes. This is why slightly weaker alliance can sometimes be much better free-to-play classroom than a perfect top alliance. This is the part nobody talks about. A weaker alliance can force you to become a better player. You learn how to optimize your marches. You learn where your account can create value. You learn where not to overcommit. You learn how to save speed-ups, how to coordinate, how to gather with purpose, and how to prioritize the upgrades that actually matter. In the Whale Alliance, you can quest it. In a Hungry Alliance, you sharpen. But again, balance matter. I'm not saying every free-to-play player should abandon strong alliance and go roleplay in the ruins. I'm saying the top alliances is not automatically the best home. If the strong alliance is active, welcoming, organized, and still give free-to-play player room to matter, that can be fantastic. If the second tier alliance is a mess, avoid it. This is not about romanticizing weakness, it is about marching your alliance to your actual experience goals. So how do you judge that in real life? Ask yourself 5 questions. When you log in, do your action matter? Do you get to participate in meaningful content? Does leadership communicate? Is the alliance active daily? And most importantly, do you feel more motivated after alliance events or less? If your answer to that last one is less, then alliance may be efficient, but it might not be right for you. Here's another real player scenario. Your alliance stops showing up. The Whale's accounts still handle the important stuffs, but ordinary members stop caring. Chat slows down, reinforcements get lazy, even feel like chorus. At that point, the alliance might still be powerful, but the culture is dying. And for a free-to-play player, culture matter most as much as rewards, because culture is what keep you logging in when you're spending cannot. Now let's tie in migration, because this become relevant later. Migration events let players move servers using passes, and the passes cause scale with the power. That means bad alliance decisions are not always permanent, but changing your environment later can still require planning, patience, and resources. So better your alliance fit now, they less likely are to waste time correcting it later. And this is where I think a lot of free-to-play players finally have their aha moment. The strongest alliance is not the best alliance. The best alliance is the one that keeps you engaged long enough to keep building, because consistency beat temporarily hype. If you burn out in the strongest alliance after a month, that best choice was not actually best for your account. Some players think free-to-play fun should come from safety, but here's the problem: too much safety can kill your own sense of agency. Others think fun only comes from chaos and underdog suffering. That is wrong too. The sweet spot is being in the alliance that is strong enough to function and weak enough that your contributions still matter. This is the zone many free-to-play players should be looking for. And this is why this topic performs so well, because it attacks one of the biggest default assumptions in strategy games. Bigger is not always better, stronger is not always more fun. And for free-to-play players, especially, the wrong kind of comfort can quietly destroy the whole reason you're playing. So my honest answer is this: if you're a free-to-play player in Age of Empires Mobile, you should not automatically join a weaker alliance, but you absolutely should stop assuming the stronger alliance is always the smartest decision. Join the alliance where you can grow, participate, matter, and stay motivated. That might be the strongest alliances, but for a lot of players it won't be. And if you're watching this right now feeling called out because you joined the Kingdom Giant and now every day you feel flatter than you expected, that does not mean you make a stupid decision. It just means you ask it the wrong question. You ask it, where is the most power? Maybe the better question is, where will I join this game enough to keep going? Where will I enjoy this game enough to keep going? So let's go back to the hook. If you're a free-to-play player in Age of Empires Mobile, joining the strongest alliance might actually be the reason you're having less fun. Now, not because strong alliances are bad, but because free-to-play player fun is built on relevance, contribution, activity, and tension, not just boring strange. And once you understand that, you stop chasing the biggest badge and start looking for the right home. So now I want to ask you this: Are you in the strongest alliance because it is actually best for your account, or because everybody told you that was the correct move? Read your answer in the comments below, because this is one of the Age of Empires Mobile topics where the smartest answers depends on what kind of player you really are. So if you go that far in this video, make sure you hit one like, also subscribe for more Age of Empires Mobile topics. I wish you a great day. Here I'm going to put one video that it can be interesting for you. Again, I wish you a great day and see you in the next video.